No, dead. They're all dead.
Mamma mia.
The following views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the producers, hosts, and or guests of the Bitter Marks podcast. We assume no responsibility for any errors or omissions in the content provided.
Listener discretion is advised.
Bitter Marks. Bitter Marks. What is up, smooth babies? Welcome to Bitter Marks. It's your favorite non-wrestling wrestling podcast coming to you every single Friday morning in audio form at flipsandbumps.com or wherever you get your podcasts from, or in video form late Tuesday evenings. Why do we say late? Well, it's because we do this thing live. Tuesday nights live at 9:05 on our YouTube page. That's right. And you can be part of the show if you feel like it. Just head on over to YouTube, search Bitter Marks Podcast, subscribe to our page. You know what to do. Just do it already. What else? Is there a chat? There's a chat involved. You can come do the chat. You can email us. There's an email involved, bittermarks@gmail.com. What am I missing? I don't know. It's rough, guys. This is a rough start. I'm not going to lie. We did discuss what would happen if I just leave. And then Peewee and Tony have to do the show by themselves. And I feel like that's the way it's headed. And I guess before I do that, I will just say that I'm your host. My name is Sasha. And I'm joined for now by my dear friend. It's Peewee.
What an intro. What is going on, my friend?
I'm trying to shorten it. And I'm sick of...
You're cutting out all the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there? You guys know to go to YouTube. You guys know flipsandbumps.com. Just do it already.
I agree that they know it, but they need that energy. They need to get in the mood to listen to an hour-long episode of the Bitter Marks. And I don't think you're bringing that energy tonight. You did tell us you were tired.
I'm a little tired. I'm a little bit tired. But I do... I'm going to bring the energy. I think I'm going to bring it. I had a cinnamon bun. But I didn't eat the cinnamon bun. Like, it's somewhere around here. I feel like if I ate the cinnamon bun, I'd have...
lost the cinnamon bun?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay.
I'd have energy, but I don't have it right now. Anyway, what's going on, Peewee? How are you doing?
Nothing. I'm looking at the YouTube feed right now, and I'm realizing that I left that closet door open behind me, which I normally make a point to close, but I am normally I'm 15 minutes early for this, and I'm getting everything set up, and I can see my background, and I'm ready to go. As you know, I sat down in this chair 30 seconds before we went live, and I've been chaotically trying to put this thing together and didn't have time or didn't even notice that door is open. So I am going to do nothing this entire show except watch my screen to make sure some creepy guy isn't slowly coming out of there and sneaking up behind me.
What do you have going on in your house that creepy people just start walking out of your closets or whatever?
You never know, man.
Are you one of those people who you always have to check stuff behind the doors and under the bed?
Not always, but no, not always. Occasionally, if it gets in my head, I definitely will.
Yeah, the shower curtain to make sure no one's in the shower. You ever do that one?
I used to be one of those guys. Yeah. Not anymore. We have honestly one of the things that really calmed my nerves was we got an alarm for the house.
Oh,
and I specifically
nice.
did this just so I could sleep at night. I don't want to have to worry. That was one of my biggest fears as a kid. And I'm the first week we moved in here, I'm we're getting an alarm. I don't want to stay up at night because I heard a little creak downstairs, and I'm thinking all night what it could be.
Yeah, I hear you 100%. I just haven't gotten the alarm. I got a Nest Cam, and then I don't use it at all. I used it.
Okay.
I used it to watch my dog for a couple years, and now it's okay, my dog doesn't do anything cool anymore. So there's no point to it. But I used to be one of those people who was always you hear a creak or you're always checking things.
I was always, for me, it would always be logistical, and it had to make sense. Again, wrestling. It always had to follow proper theory. I wouldn't be a supernatural guy. I don't think a ghost is coming out of there, but there's nothing that tells me that there's not some homeless guy that's been living in that closet for a little while, and now he's going to slowly climb out.
I hear you. I am now a door guy. The locks, I have to make sure with my eyes that the locks are locked, back,
sure, I'm
front.
there. Yeah.
Garage light has to be on.
Get yourself an alarm.
Yeah.
That's the tip of the week this week. Get an alarm. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
And maybe to set up my arm, we can bring in the punctual prince of podcasting.
Smart. Very smart.
Because he's an IT guy, which I assume is the same as setting up alarms. I guess I don't know what IT means. It's producer Tony.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I was getting all cozy over here, listening to you two pansies talk about creatures that live in your house and bumps that go bump in the night. What's up, guys?
I grew up in Bellwood. Anything that moves shouldn't be moving. You always got to keep your eyes open and your lips peeled or something.
Keep your head on a swivel.
What's that behind you? Is that He-Man? What do you got going on behind you?
No, this is topical. This is SummerSlam 1998. This is the poster.
Topical. Oh, SummerSlam. Okay, gotcha. Go.
We have the Undertaker here.
And Gilbert.
Undertaker with the Empire State Building, I believe.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
And looks like Austin with the fucking Statue of Liberty torch.
Oh, that's great. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Do you know what this is from? Did they use this?
I think it was like the poster of that year.
Interesting. It looks like there's this is like a fighting game, and in the upper left-hand corner there's like a power bar. You know what I mean? Like that's his energy. I can't tell what it is.
Good call.
Maybe they did like a comic book promo or something,
Okay.
but I'm excited for that.
In 3 years, that's going to be like the WrestleMania main event. It's just going to be a cartoon version of old superstars since they're retiring everybody.
And firing
releasing everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of people in the chat. Got a dear friend Bishop. We have Hattori Hanzo. We have Brian the Goose.
The Goose.
The Goose is loose.
Oh, if you think you're gonna live that one down, Goff, think again.
Yeah.
That is
You are now the Goose.
That is fantastic.
So,
The Goose.
Giuseppe in Hollywood. Not for long. He's here joining us. He's moving somewhere soon. He says his back is going to hate him forever. Sasha, have you eaten meat yet? I have not.
Ooh,
I have not eaten meat. Although it was kind of close. I went to a wedding this weekend, and actually I saw...
You saw meat?
Ivica, our dear friend...
Kim...
at Kim Jong-ilmatic on Twitter. Got a haircut, by the way. Went to the barber.
Oh, don't like
He's
that.
not doing his hair anymore, but he got a fade, like this thing. The cut. How does it go?
He got a fade?
Yeah. So
Really?
I think he has to grow it like a high top fade now.
This
Yeah,
man
definitely.
is the king of hairstyles. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really good, by the way. But he was constantly making fun of me because this wedding did not ask about food. So
really?
I got served steak and chicken, and my wife got served steak and chicken. So I ate like 12 pieces of asparagus that my table kept giving to me, and some mashed
Feed
potatoes.
this man.
There was like soup that had big chicken pieces in it, and so I was kind of like eating at the broth.
This sounds like a rude thing to do for a wedding. Like, don't give your guests a choice. Just put down the food in front of them. Now they have to eat it. But you're telling me that the soup had chicken, your plate had chicken and steak on it. This is like the royal wedding. This sounds fantastic.
Sure, for you it would have been fantastic. For my family,
I would
who
have
does
loved to
not eat
sit
meat.
next to you.
Yeah, right.
And, like,
Yeah.
just
Absolutely.
eat all of your extra meat.
And your wife? Oh, absolutely.
And also, my mom does not. I mean, she does, but she like picks at her food. So like 3 plates in a row was like we could have saved a cow and a chicken. But Serbians don't do that stuff, so that's what happens. Hey guys, we got 39th state. We did it. Any guesses?
Oh, you posted a picture on Twitter of the map, like the thing we've been asking you to do for a long time, the colored map of where we've had listens, where we haven't had listens.
Oh yeah, the smooth babies and the rough adults.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
the
That's
people
what
who
it
don't
was.
listen
That's what
to
it
us.
was. But I did not pay attention to how it was any different than last time.
I'm gonna guess West Virginia.
Ooh.
No, but
Damn.
I will say this: it is a state that I do not believe in.
Wow.
Just like West Virginia.
Okay.
It's
South
Arkansas.
Dakota.
It's
Oh,
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Okay.
My wife is actually watching House Hunters right now with people from Arkansas in it, and I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how these people. what is their education system down there? I don't understand these people at all. My wife's brother wants to move down there because it's like $45 to buy a house on 2 acres. Like, yeah, but you have to live down there. What is there to do? Anyway, welcome, Arkansas. We thank you. We really appreciate
Thanks for listening. We're going to shit all over your state for the next hour. Buckle up.
And Ivica says the food was horrifically bad. So I will say, hey, I can't agree or disagree. But the asparagus... The asparagus did not make my urine smell, and I had a lot of asparagus. So I'm not even sure that it was asparagus, to tell you the truth.
Asparagus substitute? That's what they serve at Serbian weddings?
Multiple asparagi. I wanted to start this off with a 10-bell salute, but I forgot to tell Peewee about it. And really, this only affects me and Tony, I'm pretty sure. But rest in peace to The Exit in Chicago.
Oh,
my favorite punk rock bar of all time. Oh, she's a beaut.
We've had some fun nights there. Oh, yeah.
1981, that place opened, before we were all born.
Hold on. Are you looking at the chat? This can't be real.
Unbelievable.
So
what is happening?
John, the longtime listener John, is also in the chat. Before we started, Goff was in the chat telling us that his screen name, Brian DeGoose, the first thing Goff says is, I swear to God, my daughter did this to my name. And now John in the chat just said, this is John, my 9-year-old daughter changed my name and I need to change it back, LOL. His name...
Plus one goofballs. But there's 2.
What is happening? All right.
I can't... No, I mean, this is fantastic. I don't know how to add to this.
Who else has a daughter that would like to change their YouTube name?
Yeah, Bishop's next. Bishop needs a new name before this podcast is up, I believe.
Yeah, get those kids awake and change the name.
So, yeah, The Exit, I believe we told the story. Yeah, we did, definitely, about producer Tony vomiting all over the side of my car on the highway.
In the middle of February.
In the middle of winter, where it froze to my car, and then the guy who had to clean my car the next day was just very disappointed. But The Exit was such a great place. Was it 10-cent draft night? Is that what it used to be?
Yeah, it was 10-cent old-style draft night.
Man.
Yeah.
And I used to have the picture. I don't know what happened to it. This was several years ago, where I had the stack of empties, and it was just my face like all sideways because, as you can imagine, I had a lot of fun that night.
And if you look,
how does a bar survive? No wonder this place is out of business. 10-cent drafts? What are you getting out of that?
They lasted 40 years on 10-cent draft night, my friend.
That is.
They must have paid off a lot of politicians over the years to stay open that long, but it looks like that's run dry because they got shut down.
After producer Tony drank those 19 or 20 beers or whatever it was, if you looked at that picture, there's like a front door right in the middle. He walked out of the door and just puked all over, like right the front entrance, like right where everybody has to walk into. That was one of the highlights of my life, Tony.
19 or 20 beers costed him at most $2, $2 single dollars.
Well, here's the thing. At that point, when we used to go, I used to work in vending, so I got paid in $5 bills.
Yeah.
So I had like $2,000 in $5 bills. So I would be ordering trays at a time for people, like in every direction, and then I would just take out a large envelope and pay. It was good times, and that was like what, a year ago, year and a half. No.
What the hell was I gonna say? That was one of those places where like there's always fresh ice in the urinal where you would pee on the ice.
Yeah.
If you've been to bars in the city, you know what I'm talking about. But like that was one of the highlights of The Exit. That's always a fun game, to pee on the ice.
Yeah, and The Exit is closed, and the Mutiny closed down, and the owner of the Mutiny died. So everything we love
Punk rock is dying in the city of Chicago.
Oh, it's been dead for a long time, my friend. Dark Side of the Ring announced 7 new episodes.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
And I'm kind of interested here to see how many producer Tony knows. Like, how many of these subjects. I'm going to guess that you know 5 of the 7.
Did you know all 7?
I knew 6 of the 7, and I think Peewee, you would know 6 of the 7.
Okay.
So I want to go just quickly down them. I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of time on
Speed
this.
round. We'll do the lightning round. Come on, let's go.
But I do want to see Producer Tony. I'm going to say what it is, and then you tell me what you think it is.
All right.
The Steroid Trials.
When the WWF got cracked down by the government for steroid use.
Absolutely.
Ding.
The next one, this one comes with a picture. It is the plane ride from hell. Do you know what this is?
I'm a little delayed on the picture. I can't really see it. But the plane ride from hell. Man. No, I don't know what that is.
The plane ride from hell was a WWF European trip gone wrong, where they did a bunch of shows in Europe. They ended it with a pay-per-view, and on the way back, all sorts of crap happened on the plane ride home. So one of the main things that happened, everybody got drunk. This is when WWF chartered their own planes, excuse me. So everybody on the plane was either crew or like wrestlers or announcers or whatever. So everybody was there. So on the plane, they had open bar. Presumably this was the last time they had open bar. And everyone was drunk. There was all sorts of sexual harassment going on.
I was going to say, how many lawsuits were spawned from this?
There were many lawsuits, legitimately, from the staff or whatever. The what do you call them? Stewardesses? Is that a dated term? Attendants?
We know what you mean.
I'm not sure what. Flight attendants or whatever.
Yeah, let's go with that.
But anyway, Mr. Perfect challenged Brock Lesnar to a wrestling match. They wrestled, and then it kind of turned into a shoot, and they ran into the latch, like the airplane door was open, 30,000 feet in the plane, so they had to be separated or whatever. That was an absolute, could have been a disaster. Brock Lesnar could have killed Mr. Perfect. Dustin Rhodes, who had broken up with his wife, but she was on the plane. That was, what's her name? Marlena?
Yeah.
Terry Runnels. So he was wasted. He was singing over the intercom, trying to serenade her. Ric Flair came out in a robe, just a robe, nothing underneath, and was trying to get people to touch his little flare. Michael P.S. Hayes, hammered, challenged Bradshaw to a fight.
This is going to be a great episode. I'm very excited for this episode.
That ended with P.S. Hayes passing out and X-Pac cutting off his mullet. So he got really, really upset when he woke up and found out about that. And the next night on the Raw taping or whatever, X-Pac hung it up on the wall. No one ever told on X-Pac because they were all not fans of Michael P.S. Hayes or whatever.
Wow.
So Scott Hall was just completely drunk the entire time, passed out. They didn't know if he was alive or not. Oh, no. So much stuff happened, lawsuits and everything. This is probably the night that wrestling died, because after this, WWF put in all these changes.
Is that the plane ride where Vince challenged somebody to a wrestling match?
No, that was every other plane ride. But yeah, that one's going to be an awesome episode. What about this one, Tony? Chris Canyon.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's Mortis. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, look at that. Do you know why he would have an episode of Dark Side of the Ring?
Oh, wasn't there some sexual assault stuff?
Not that I know of sexual assault, but he was a closeted homosexual for most of his career. Okay. And after the WWF got rid of him, he kind of turned it into a gimmick for a second, and then just came out as gay. But he ended up, I think it was suicide. At least an overdose.
That one will be
sort.
Depressing.
Yeah, I mean they're all going to be depressing. It is this, whatever it's called, but Dark Side of the Ring. But yeah, that's where that one's probably going to be headed. What about FMW? What do you know about FMW?
Nothing. I got nothing.
That's Onita, Japanese hardcore legend. He started this company, FMW. Hayabusa. You've heard of Hayabusa.
Even Masato Tanaka versus Awesome happened there a bunch of times.
Yeah, this was the hardcore Japanese company. They did stuff with ECW eventually.
They got
so
Funaki?
That one's going to be cool. No Funaki.
I've never heard of it then.
Luna Vachon. obviously lived a tough life and was a tough, whatever words you want to use to describe her. Luna Vachon was awesome, and that one's going to be an awesome one. XPW. Do you know about XPW?
Sounds like some carny hardcore fed.
Yeah, that's dead on.
Nailed it.
They were like the ECW of the West Coast, except not as good as ECW. They were ran by a porn director or porn producer or whatever. The guy was Rob Black, I think was his name. They actually came to an ECW pay-per-view, Heatwave, and tried. They all like sat close to the front row or whatever, and they were going to try and like take over security. Like Atlas beat their ass. All the wrestlers came out and beat their ass.
Like you can go back on the network and see this. It's all over YouTube. I didn't know about this till this year. I didn't know this story, which was surprising because we were such big ECW marks. But they basically ruined the main event of an ECW pay-per-view when they were sitting. We'll have to talk about this when the episode airs. I won't get into too much of it right now, but it's very, very interesting.
And then the last one, there's no chance you know anything about this, producer Tony. But Peewee, I'm interested to see if you know about this one. Johnny K9?
No, it doesn't ring any bells.
Johnny
I have never even heard the name Johnny K9. He was a Canadian wrestler, wrestled for Stampede, Smoky Mountain, New Japan, was a WWF job guy. He had a long career, but he had like tons of legal issues. We're going to talk way more about this when it airs because I think it's probably going to be one of those episodes that shocks you and you're like, ooh, I had no clue about this. How did this exist? I mean, Cornette like defends the guy because he was in Smoky Mountain. He was like hired by Cornette to be like the bodyguard of Cornette in Smoky Mountain. So there's pictures of like him with Terry and Dory Funk and Jim Cornette and stuff. It's really interesting. He passed away a couple years ago. And Cornette and the other guy on Cornette's podcast, Brian Last, they talked about him like on that show. So Cornette claims that this was a nice, positive guy in the locker room. But like I said, he was in like a motorcycle club. He had alleged mob ties or something like that. The other guy, Brian Last, said, and I quote, "Despite blowing up a police station and allegedly murdering people, he was very nice to me." So, I mean, that's going to be a good story to talk about, I'm pretty sure. Right. So, yeah, so that's I didn't know where they would go with Dark Side of the Ring, but those are all kind of very interesting stories. It is not getting watered down to this point.
I mean, obviously the one that sticks out is the plane ride from hell. I'm surprised it made it till season 3 before they started talking about this, but at the same time, it's a strictly like WWF story. I don't know how much talent they're going to be able to get to be able to discuss this. Have you always had that Bone Zone sticker on the cactus?
Oh, it's been there for a while, yeah.
Since your birthday when I made it for you.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's a
and
sign.
You know what?
That's the sign,
I don't think we've discussed this on the podcast, but I got a memorial boner mask. Did I show you guys this?
This looks familiar. Have we seen this, Tony? I think we saw this. It was either before this podcast or the other podcast we do, and I think I just turned on my camera and you were wearing it.
He was wearing that a couple weeks ago. We were like, "What the fuck is that?"
You should tell him what it is.
It's a mask, and it's to commemorate.
It's a goldfish mask.
Yeah, my dear friend Boner, who passed away tragically earlier this year. And I got this thing from China. I put this thing on my head that one time that we were talking, and like my head stunk for 3 days of like whatever this is. So I don't know. I got some sort of SARS going on. And like my hand already smells just from touching it. So I got to put it back up there. But yeah, this is like this is the Bitter Marks. I don't know what you call it. My Huevos mask is up there. The Huevos Santa Claus thing.
Oh, that's great.
The championship belt, the Bone Zone, the Bitter Marks 3D printed thing that Tony made. The Shane McMahon figure or whatever with the T-shirts. The Bitter Marks T-shirt was on there, but it fell. Get it? Because Shane McMahon falls a lot.
We have that very secret project that's going on this weekend on Sunday. Are you able to bring that so we can put it in the background?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think.
Oh yeah, and then the cactus. Of course,
the cactus, absolutely. Yeah,
that's our logo. Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
What else we got?
Speaking of, what else do I have? What's in the box? All right, I told you guys last week that I had ordered the last show that I was ever on, Legends Fest 2002. I ordered from High Spots.
Ooh, yes.
And this order came in like 2 days. It came in, by the way. High Spots, superior to other professional wrestling T-shirt websites.
In terms of shipping, yeah.
So here it is. I got it. It's the DVD version of Legends Fest 2002.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff on there. I haven't watched it yet.
Is that Dusty on the cover? Who's on the cover?
It is Dusty and Lawler.
Dusty and Lawler was the main, yeah.
They do some interviews on there. Right before them was Brian Christopher versus Buff Bagwell. James Storm versus Chris Harris, which was 2 TNA guys. I remember them getting talked about a lot when we were down there. That was like the big deal.
Two guys,
see.
right.
Yeah, those were the 2 guys. Mike Rapida on here, who's the Colorado Kid. Yeah. Spellbinder was in a match over here. He partnered with Chase Stevens and Cassidy Riley.
Yep.
Is Cassidy Riley the guy who ended up tagging with Kurt as well?
Yes, eventually he did. I don't think he wrestled as Cassidy. Maybe it was Cassidy O'Reilly. It was something similar to that. Chase Stevens was also in TNA for a little bit as I don't remember his tag team name, but he was in there with another kid who worked for Burt. The Hot Shots or something. Somebody in the chat help me out. Who was Chase Stevens in TNA? But yeah.
Well, either way, they tagged with this guy Spellbinder. Spellbinder, we talked about him coincidentally last week. He's the guy who was in the USWA's Nation of Domination.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Kareem Olajuwon.
There's a
Hakeem.
decent chance that I've refereed that Spellbinder match. I may have met that guy that we talked about last week.
I'm gonna watch that this week and see if I could find any Peewee clips.
Please.
In addition to that, I got this little grab bag thing, right? Where they're just like, yeah, we'll send you 5 or 6 items. One of them is I don't know who this is. I'm gonna guess it's Gail Kim.
That was my guess as well, but that could also be here. I got it covered, allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, the reason why I say that is because I have not seen a lot of Gail Kim's matches.
Okay.
So I cannot recognize her. You see what I did there? And also, I believe this is a TNA product. Because I have I have like 3 other of these flags.
What is that? Is that like a pillowcase or something? What the hell is
that?
It's
a flag. It's
flag.
like
a
flag.
Seriously. Flag.
That's got to go in the bone zone. Yeah.
All right, I will open this up so you guys can see it.
Please,
I have like 3 or 4 more of these, all with different Impact Wrestling women, because I bought like an Impact grab bag.
I think
Look at this.
Wow. Don't know if we can put this on. It's
Can that
definitely
go on
Kim,
YouTube,
yeah.
Peewee? I don't know.
If I can go on YouTube, right?
This is going to get me in trouble when Megan walks in here, but...
Quick, you didn't know on Gail Kim. Do you know who she's married to?
I do. Robert Irvine.
Yeah. The chef, the Food Network guy.
Yeah.
They
the
met,
big buff chef.
The way that they met was through a WWE Food Network crossover. There was just a show that they did. It was like hosted by The Miz, and they brought in random like wrestlers. It was a Restaurant Impossible episode with WWE guys, where they were like catering a WWE event. And Gail Kim was one of the random people that they brought in to work with Robert Irvine, and that was the first time they met. Like their first meeting is on camera.
I like that guy too.
Yeah, same here.
It's a good show. I also got anybody who has an iPhone 4, if they want this Rey Mysterio iPhone 4 skin. iPhone 4 skin.
It's great.
Rey Mysterio 4 skin. So you can have that all over your hands. What else is in here? I got some like...
4 skin.
And that's the name of this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the name of the episode.
This
name aside, what a dick move on High Spots to include that in a grab bag. Who has an iPhone 4? What can you do with that?
I agree. I mean, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
I don't know what to do with this if I had an iPhone 4.
That too. The niche market that they're appealing to and sending that out in the hopes that it would get used is very limited.
I also got a Finding Zach Gowen DVD. I don't know if we've talked about Zach Gowen. Producer Tony, he's a one-legged wrestler. He was in the WWE for a while.
Okay.
Somebody threw him. Who was it? Brock who threw him down the stairs in a wheelchair?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know. I thought Big Show threw him into a post, but that might have been Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, that Rey Mysterio clip, we need to get that for sure. That's my screw the iPhone 4. That is the Rey Mysterio that we need on this show. That's one of the best clips ever, where he's in a stretcher. They stretchered out Rey Mysterio, and the Big Show picks him up and throws him at the ring post. Hilarity ensues. Another thing that came with this, I've given away like 3 of these in the Pop the Boys contests in the past couple of years. TNA backpack.
That's true.
Yes.
So now we have another one. And I'm just noticing there's something in here. So this is a surprise to me. It is a Randy Orton, like, chain. I don't know what this is. Some like sort of Randy Orton bullshit.
Okay.
That will soon be on eBay.
What did you pay?
And then
for
the
this
last thing. What's that?
How much did you pay for this Gail Kim flag?
And $9.99 for this grab.
Right, we're almost halfway there.
And then this thing. I don't know if you know who this is, Peewee, but this comes with a certificate of authenticity from High Spots.
I like that.
I don't know if that means anything.
From High Spots. Okay, go ahead.
I thought this was Heath Slater. It's not.
Is that Dan the Dad?
I believe it is Dan the Dad. Yeah. Do you know? What do you know about Dan the Dad?
Nothing. Just that he has like a suburban dad gimmick, and that he does like random like. If I had a example, I'd give you one. But he does like spots that are like dad like, where he tucks his.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's done local shows that like I normally go to, like freelance wrestling and stuff, but I have never seen him wrestle. I've heard the name before, and so that's why I think I recognized him. But yeah, so if you want that, $59.95 on eBay, and it can be yours. Smart. Let's talk a little wrestling figure update. I got nothing for figures, but I just need to know what happened with the ring, Peewee. Okay, what happened with did the people get the doink? Did the people get the extra lumber?
Did they get the boards?
The boards is what the people want to know, right? So this thing came down to last Friday was a big day, was a milestone in this Mattel ring and Diesel and Macho Man, and we talked about this at length last week. The Friday was the last day to get your Macho Man figure. The promotion actually goes all the way through, I think, Thursday or Friday of this week. But if you wanted Macho Man, you only had until last Friday to get it. So as of Thursday, they were only at 2,500 backers. They needed at least 5,000 to back the ring at all for any of this to get made. 5,000 by the time that this thing expires, which would be the 22nd, whenever the 22nd is. It is. Oh, it's Sunday. So they do have time. Either way, so they have till this Sunday to get 5,000 backers. But if you backed it by last Friday, they included that Macho Man set as well. So, and there's no bonus for backing it after Friday. So from last Saturday till Sunday, there's nothing you get in addition to the base set. Whereas if you backed it before then, you got this Macho Man figure. So if they were going to back this thing, they needed to get it done on Friday, right? On Thursday, it was only at 2,500. It was very, very low. They needed to almost double all of their backers in one day because nobody's going to be backing it after Friday. Friday got off with a big kickstart, and in the morning it was almost like 100 people were backing it per hour, and it was going. The number was quickly ticking up. It was probably more than that. This thing got funded to 5,000. They met that quota by, I think, noon. It was somewhere around noon on Friday, right? So at that point, anyone who orders is getting the Macho Man. They're getting the Diesel. They're getting the ring with the boards, and they're getting the light up set. And they're paying $250 for this. Now it's the trek to 7,000.
The push for Doink.
Right. You unlock a Doink figure, which is I know we joked about this last week, but it is a big deal. It's a Ultimate figure, which it's super articulated, it's super detailed, it gives you multiple heads. They will make these figures again. You'll get another Macho Man Ultimate figure. You'll probably get another Diesel figure. You'll get a bunch of Shawns. You'll get a bunch of Bretts. You're not going to get another shot at Doink. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be pumping these out. He's not a character that is going to sell off the shelves multiple times. So if they wanted to get him, this was the time. And again, the best shot they have to get him is going to be the last Friday. By 2 o'clock, they were at 7,000 people. They got to Doink on Friday. Yeah, also unbelievable. It was they more than like tripled the amount of numbers they had on Friday. Now, if they got to 8,000, they unlocked ring skirts for the like these little cloth things for the ring to add on. Nobody really cared about them, but the numbers did after they unlocked Doink. They did keep going up. They passed the 8,000 mark. They got 8,000 backers. They unlocked the aprons very late at night. I want to say that was at like 7 p.m. And I actually thought once Doink unlocked, the numbers. I was talking to Robert Emetel, and he's the guy that worked on this project specifically. And I was like, what do you think if it hits Doink? This was before obviously it happened. What do you think the ceiling is for today? Because my thinking is Friday is the only day, if it hits 7,000, that you're guaranteed the ring, the entryway, diesel, but you're also guaranteed, if you order it on Friday, Macho Man and Doink. It's the only day you're guaranteed everybody. Versus the day before, if you would have ordered, you don't know if you're getting anything because you might just get refunded and the thing might just not get backed. If you ordered the day after on Saturday, you're not getting Macho Man. But after it reaches 5,000 and then specifically after it reached 7,000, I thought it was going to shoot to the moon because everybody's like, okay, if I want to get on this thing, I got to get it now and I'm getting the most bang for my buck. And he agreed. My guess to Robert, and he agreed, I thought it was going to hit 10K easily on Friday if they unlocked Doink. I thought it was going to like inch up to 7,000. When it hit 7,000, boom, within an hour going to be at 10,000. They hit Doink they hit the 7,000 mark at like 2 p.m. Not till like 7 p.m. did they hit the 8,000 mark. And after that, it stopped at like 8,050 people, 50 backers on Friday. Macho Man expires, and I just checked the thing today. It's only at 8,170. They've only had like an additional 120 people back the thing since Macho Man has died off, which makes sense. I mean, that's to be expected. Thank you. So yeah, it's definitely getting backed, and now it's just a waiting game until I think next summer at the earliest when this thing is going to get out, and then from there.
Oh yeah, next summer, sure.
Next summer, sure.
We will definitely be talking about this more once it does come out, and everybody and their mother is trying to sell one of these. I didn't end up buying one.
So at least 7,000 people are going to have those Doinks.
Oh yeah, guaranteed, absolutely. The Macho
Does that
Man,
mean that they're worthless? Because like there's going to be a ton of them on eBay.
I don't know. I don't think worthless. Like
7,000 is a big number for like special figures, right?
It's not
tripping here.
The normally like they release right now in Target. You can get a Ric Flair Ultimate figure, and you can get a Stone Cold Steve Austin Ultimate figure. It's the same style figure, super detailed, super articulated. Those figures retail for $30. If you hang on to them, the Rock figure that was released, I think 8 months ago. That one, again, it was released for $30, and now it goes for $200 plus. These figures specifically do go up in value, and they make about 25,000 of them. That's the rough numbers that I've gotten. Gotcha. So these are definitely more limited than the like regular retail release. But again, if you wanted them, you have to assume they're gonna go up in value. If you wanted them and they're that easy to get, like they're just made to order. If you ordered until last Friday, you were gonna order them. So I don't know. You can make an argument one way or another for the resale value of these, and this is exactly why I didn't buy any, because it's uncertain. And with check out Flips and Bumps, the Flips and Bumps podcast. I make a lot of like not risky choices, but I definitely throw my money around. But I throw my money around in places that's smart investments theoretically. This to me wasn't a guarantee by any means, so I didn't back a single one. You guys didn't back any of these, correct?
I didn't back this emotionally or financially. Like, I don't even. It's one of those things where, like, if you're selling a figure for $20, you could see somebody potentially loading up and buying like 20 figures, right? This thing, I am shocked that the number went up so quickly because it's $250 a pop.
I don't know where all the funds came from.
Who is buying? I mean, multiples of these things.
Yeah. It seemed like everybody that was posting about it was like, I just ordered my second one. I just ordered my third one. Like, they're all just like, they were getting behind this movement of, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. I can afford another one. I don't have to eat next month. I'll be good. It was very, I don't know. Did anybody in the chat, John specifically, did you order one? If you ordered one, let us know in the chat. I don't think anybody else is worth asking, but if... Yeah,
we won't make fun of you at all if you admit that you ordered one of these.
I do. I wish I actually meant to pull a picture of the Doink. The Doink is extremely cool. It's not like happy-go-lucky Doink. It is like disheveled.
Nobody's questioning the quality of the doink.
I'm gonna pull
Right?
up a picture of this doink, but go ahead.
Although I do have a question: does he have like Nerf hair, or is it plastic
There's
hair?
3 different heads. There are. Oh, you're asking? Is it like?
Does it
is
have
a
like
soft
troll
good?
hair
Yeah.
from the 90s?
No,
Yeah,
no. It's.
like
I believe all 3 heads are hard.
Ooh. And
Giggity.
even +1 goofballs, but there's 2 did not back of this.
Okay.
I have a feeling some online retailers bought some. Yeah, you're probably right, but I still think that's like insane numbers for like anyone to buy more. Let's say you buy 10 of them. You're dropping $2,500 plus tax plus whatever.
I'm sure, and I don't know anybody
And
except
that's
for
for 10.
Cardona that bought 10. Right.
Yeah, like that's big money. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. It is.
so if you have everybody buying 10, I guess, what do you have? 800 people buying 10 each or whatever? Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not doubting it. It's definitely. I'm definitely not questioning.
I'm glad you didn't buy one. That's all I'm
Agreed.
saying.
I had my reasons for not buying one. Here is a picture of. Oh wait, let me get it. But look at this is the only thing that I was on the fence about. Like I did like the way this doink looks.
Yeah, it's a fantastic looking figure.
But I can't.
That's good doink.
That's good doink. I just can't.
Solid doink.
I can't
Solid
justify.
doink.
It's not a $250 doink. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, is any doink really worth $250?
The original doink probably never got paid $250.
Allegedly.
I had some tidbits and stuff that I wanted to talk about, but this show's already flying by, so I'm going to skip the tidbits. I do have one that I thought was kind of interesting. Steve Corino came out of retirement to wrestle his son for a
Yeah.
championship belt. I thought the flyer was cool.
Flyer's very cool.
I didn't even recognize Steve Corino.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, he's on the left if you're looking on the YouTube page. His son looks just like him in the face, Colby Corino. He's a GCW guy occasionally. I've seen him all over the indies or whatever. But, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that he's coming out to take on his son. I think it said, 25 years or something?
I don't know.
What does it say? I can't read. 25th,
25th
anniversary show?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with them, but sure.
Oh, okay. Well, that's impressive for that fed.
Agreed. Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to some emails. We got to get to Dawkins Kruger's emails. He's been emailing us every week, and we've just been shutting them down.
Okay, good idea.
He sent one today, actually, about Dr. D. David Schultz, which we've talked about before. I believe we watched his Dark Side of the Ring. He was the guy who slapped the reporter, and then
Yeah, I remember that one.
solid Dark Side of the Ring episode. And then there's a couple more emails that he sent. Here's another one. He says, all right, he sent a link that says, Jewel thief scoots away after mind-boggling heist in Paris. Now, if I had a group of friends here on the podcast with me, I would ask them to laugh in a French accent. But we know how that happens on this show. So anyway, it says, French police have arrested 2 suspects after a thief took jewels worth between 2 and 3 million pounds from an exclusive Paris store and scooted off before the alarm could be raised. The 2 suspects were traveling on a coach, were arrested in a motorway lay-by, these are all words I don't understand, in eastern France on Wednesday morning. Officers said a substantial part of the jewels stolen have been recovered. After the heist, potential witnesses at a nearby cafe told La Parisienne that they saw and heard nothing. Many were reportedly distracted by the presence of one-time screen hardman and martial arts specialist Jean-Claude Van Damme at the nearby opticians. JCVD was getting his eyes checked, and all the people were watching him get his eyes checked. So nobody saw this bank heist go on in the background.
I think he's in on it allegedly.
Ooh,
I think JCVD was in on it. He was like, "Okay, man,
Allegedly.
I'm gonna go be the distraction." He was probably doing the split move, in the while he's getting his eyes checked. That kind of deal.
What confidence he would, if that is true. Again, allegedly, what confidence he would have that the only diversion they came up with, yes, JCVD is a distraction, but hey, I'll just go in and get my eyes checked. They'll all focus on me, and then you guys can do whatever you need to do.
Well, maybe he needed glasses. Maybe he was killing 2 birds with one stone.
I
You know what I'm
like
saying?
that. Okay.
Yeah, Brian DeGoose also caught that it said one-time screen hard man, which was a great way of describing JCVD. Tony, you recently put a bunch of his movies on the Plex Express, right?
Oh yeah, I ran down like his top like 8 movies or
Did
something
you
like
watch
that.
them all, or just get ready to watch them all?
I'm still chipping away.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna watch Sudden Death.
I was gonna
next.
ask if Sudden Death is on there.
It's on there, baby.
I'm looking at a VHS of Sudden Death right now. Sudden Death, Time Cop, Nowhere to Run.
I think those are all
Soldier.
on there. I think those are. I did watch Universal Soldier. I did watch that one.
Hell yeah! This podcast is over. We're going to watch VHS. Doc Kruger also sent another email. The return of the Savannah Bananas.
Hell yeah.
Possibly the greatest sports franchise of all time. So this guy for the Savannah Bananas, we're not going to play the video because it's kind of a long, uneventful video to listen to, I guess.
Okay.
But basically this guy, a batter for the Savannah Bananas, came out with a golf bag, with a caddy, with a rangefinder, and they walked up to like the batter's box. The caddy went to give him a golf club. He waved it off, and then he gave him the bat. And then like they agreed on whatever bat to use or whatever. And then he like did the cap nod towards the people. I do believe. Do we have a picture, or are the picture's not working, Peewee?
Of what?
The Savannah Bananas. I sent you it.
What do you want? Do you want a picture of this guy? I don't know who that is. You sent me this picture. You sent me this guy. Is this the Savannah Bananas?
I love everything going on right now. Go back 2 pictures. Go to the cartoon one.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the plane ride from hell picture. You see Ric Flair with the robe.
Did you draw
this? The mullet being cut off.
I love X-Pac cutting off P.S. Hayes' mullet. That's
Yeah, that is solid artwork there. No, it's a picture of a guy with a baseball bat. What do you think? You didn't get that one?
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah, notice the guy in the background.
Yeah, that's okay. That's my problem. Is I labeled it as Dumb and Dumber. That's when you don't send me captions for these pictures. This is the problem.
This is not a problem, by the way.
Yeah, this is no problem. There's a man in the background wearing an all-yellow suit with a yellow top hat, who is somehow the second most distracting thing going on. The Savannah Bananas are a solid team. I tried buying one of their shirts off of eBay, but it was like $11.50, so I
Was
declined.
it yellow? I'm looking in the stands, and like they're all wearing yellow shirts. This guy's dressed in yellow. Like that guy that we might be looking at might be the Savannah Banana.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's absolutely
He's
him?
like the guy in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones who does not play in the band, but he just skanks wearing
dances?
a banana
Yeah.
suit.
Yeah,
Like, that is him for sure.
I don't think the manager as well. It could be the
great
manager.
if all their ushers
Savannah
had
Bananas.
to look like that.
The manager.
All right, what else
The
do I got
manager.
here?
That'd be great.
They actually showed that on the Chicago news this week. Like I was watching the
really?
news. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So I mean, someone over there is doing their job. Then we got a couple emails from Hanzo. The first one said, subject line, "Thank you, Netflix." I didn't understand this email, so bear with me. But it says, thank you, Netflix, for reminding me that I already rented a DVD back on 5/8/06. Your memory is better than mine. But please get off your asses and steal Heels away from Stars. What the F is Stars? Heels is that TV show we talked about that is a professional wrestling TV show. Not to be confused with professional wrestling as a TV show.
Sure.
This is
It's Glow,
TV
but
show.
with men.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
And it is on the Stars Network, which I am not sure what that is. And Hattori Hanzo clearly does not have it. And honestly, I don't think you're going to miss out.
I don't have it. Do you have it? Did you watch it?
No, I would never watch any of this.
Oh, okay.
Like, this to me sounds like the worst idea of all time.
Okay.
Isn't CM Punk part of this?
I believe so.
Isn't he involved?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
now I'm definitely
All
interested,
point
right? How do we put this as the logo for this week's episode? Watch the YouTube video, people. And then the other thing, all right, Peewee, this is going to be another picture I'm looking for you. It's like a video game with a man in the corner.
I knew this one. I got you.
Okay. Subject line, Sad Adam Cole. Apparently, Adam Cole was on Twitch playing video games when he
Hollow
found
Knight.
out.
That's Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
We can confirm that it is Hollow Knight. When he found out that his dear friend Tyler Breeze was released by the WWE. So he's doing this Twitch stream. He looks down at his phone, and then he just continues to look down at his phone until you see him like wiping like his nose. Like all of a sudden he got
Wiping away the tears.
Maybe not tears, but the nose started running. It was an interesting watch, and once again, not worth watching on the YouTube because it's silence for most of the time. But then at the end, he answers a question. He's like, I don't eat strawberry Pop-Tarts, or like whatever somebody asked him for or whatever. But we'll tweet it out. It's definitely worth a tweet.
This is an old clip. It's from when Tyler Breeze got Future Endeavor, more than a month ago.
We talked about the USWA last week.
Okay, sure. I'm with you. But this clip, I'm not on Hattori Hanzo for sending this in. The news outlets were like the dirt sheets were promoting this clip in the past week. I'm assuming that's how Hattori Hanzo came across it, is that everybody was talking about this clip this week when this is something that happened literally 2 months ago.
Yeah, I knew the Tyler Breeze stuff was a while ago, but Hanzo actually messaged me asking if I had seen it, and I was like, no, I have no clue what this is. So but thank you guys for the emails. Thank you for sending stuff in as always. We're going to ask you guys to send some stuff in next week as well, but that will be towards the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. I want to play a little game called What's Happening with the Captain?
Okay.
Captain isn't a real word, but this is a story about Captain Lou Albano. Larry Zbyszko was on a radio show or something. It was called the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. They did an interview with Larry Zbyszko.
Recently, okay.
And he started talking about Captain Lou Albano. And he goes, Zbyszko recounted a time with himself, Lou, Tony Garea, and Tony Altomare. They were in a restaurant in New York, and there was somebody there who was kind of like, pro wrestling isn't real. What's going on? So Zbyszko said, Albano was kind of crazy in a lovable way for us. But we were in a restaurant one time. We're eating at this table, and a couple tables away was Captain Lou and Altomare. So they're not eating together. It's a nice restaurant in New York, and all of a sudden you see Altomare saying something to Lou and pointing to people at the table next to them, saying stuff like, hey, I think those people are knocking you, Lou, and saying wrestling's not real and all that crap. So Albano's getting angry. You could see it on his face or whatever. Zbyszko and the other guy are like looking at each other going, oh, God, what's he going to do? And Albano gets up to confront this man. And so I want to ask you guys, what's happening with the captain? What do you think
happens next?
What do you think Lou Albano does to this man or woman who is talking trash?
But he didn't hear them talk trash. He's getting this second hand from Zbyszko or somebody at the table who's like, hey.
The guy at the table with him, yeah. His friend who is at his table who's
so
like,
he's
hey,
just
these
taking
people are
the
saying
word
stuff.
for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. My guess would be, okay, let's assume that they're close friends and that they don't fuck with each other too much. Right? Because he could just be making this up, and then he walks up and then gets all in this guy's face, and it's just about nothing. So let's say that they don't have that type of relationship. I'll say he gets up, goes to the guy's table, and grabs the glass of water on the table and throws it in the guy's face.
Producer Tony, what's your guess?
I have an admission. I only know Steve Albano from one thing, and that is the Super Mario Brothers live action TV show. So I'm going to say
Lou Albano.
Whatever. Lou Albano.
Is that true?
I don't know him as a worker. I've never seen him wrestle. I only know him as Mario.
You don't even know him from the Cyndi Lauper video?
Oh, that's right. He was the dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you got me on two things.
All right.
Anyway, I think he does the Super Mario theme song. Do the Mario!
Sure enough, Albano gets up, walks over to the other table with the guy, zips down his pants, and pees on him in the restaurant.
Wow!
That's the kind of stuff that no one else would ever think to do that Captain would do and somehow get away with it. They would politely ask him to leave, The guy's getting peed on in the restaurant, and oh my God, me and Guerrero are just shaking our heads. He was a character, is how that sentence ends by Larry
Brian
Zbyszko.
the Goose was the closest guess in the chat. He said he teabags the guy.
Oh, yeah, very close. And that was What's Happening with the Cappenin'. Possibly the highlight of my day, coming up with that title, by the way.
Nicely done.
One other little tidbit here. I don't know if you have this clip ready, Peewee. I think I should just ask you for pictures, and you should put up any picture. Doesn't have to deal with what I talk about. But we've been talking recently about like the age of people in AEW.
Okay.
And I actually came across this picture of WWE guys currently and their ages. And look at this stuff. They are all old dudes. You have R-Truth 49, Edge 47, Mysterio 46, Lashley 45, AJ Styles 44, Sheamus 43, Nakamura 41. Who's that? Morrison 41, Randy Orton 41, Ziggler at 40, Cesaro at 40, Finn Balor 39 years old.
A lot of Ben Gay in that locker room.
Were you shocked at this, Peewee? Like this particular picture?
Yeah,
we know the old guys that they bring in, but
you never think about them as a group. You never think about yes, you look at a guy like who's a good like Morrison or a guy like Lashley or even R-Truth. Like you look at these guys and when you see them individually, you're like, yeah, he's older. It's surprising that he can still go and still looks that good. But when you see this big group of guys that are all together and you start thinking about them as a group, yeah, I mean a solid chunk of their roster is, I mean, if not at 40, over 40.
And a lot of these guys, by the way, look incredible for their age too. Like
I can't believe Lashley's 45. That dude,
right?
Yeah,
man. Dude, R-Truth is gonna be 50.
Yeah, good call. Good call. I just thought it was interesting. So
no, absolutely.
It's a cool picture that I came across on Instagram. The one good thing that Instagram is good for. The next up is, all right, we got two things left. The last one is going to be me reading a little story. So it might get a little long, but I'm going to try and breeze through it. This next thing is a quick segment. I'm going to call it the Jobber Spotlight. I've been watching Raw, as you guys know, from 1993, and I kept coming across this guy, and his name is L.A. Gore. And I was like, what a great name, and what a great look for this guy as well. I don't know if you have the picture, Peewee. There he is. Look at this man. Look at this man.
Pictures are easy when they have literally the guy's name written on them.
Good call. So this guy debuted in 1991 in WCW.
Okay.
Debuted in WCW. That blows my mind. Anyway, wrestled in WWF as a jobber, had 5 or 6 matches or whatever. As a wrestler, wrestled for like 5 years, had about 30 matches in his database, which online there's like databases for all kinds of wrestlers. Only 30 matches in the 5 years, so like there's not a lot on him. But he won a battle royal that featured Taz, Tommy Dreamer, and Nikolai Volkov in it. His name is almost Al Gore, which is fantastic.
It's L.A.
There's
Gore.
Actually
that's amazing.
The only funny thing that the only thing I found about him online, there was like a funny write-up about him on something. When you search for L.A. Gore wrestler or whatever, there's like
if he was a
nice
luchador, he could be La Gore.
Oh, there you go.
He may be a luchador. Maybe he lost a mask match and now he is.
It is.
He never should have been under a mask.
Ridiculous name for a job guy, right? Like job guys just have like regular, run-of-the-mill names. They don't have their name is not initials L.A. Gore. Like that's
it's kind of flashy for a job.
Very much so. Yeah.
And that's all I know about L.A. Gore. So if you know anything about this guy or you're related to him or something, let us know. We'd love to know what L.A. Gore is doing.
Look at the disdain on Fink's face. Look at his face. He's like, this fucking guy won? Really? This is what we're doing?
There's no way this guy won.
He's got his hands raised.
That's before the match.
No,
Fink announced
he's
him.
raising his hands. No one is raising his hands. The last thing that I want to do, I want to read you guys this story. It goes along with what we were talking about with the plane ride from hell, actually, so it kind of works out nicely. Except this is the WCW version. It is a story that I read, and I read it. I wanted to read it because it was a story about Mr. Hughes, but there's other people involved in the story. So it's not really a Mr. Hughes story, although he is a major part of it. So I'm going to read this. It's going to be me reading for a little bit. Let me try and breeze through it as quickly as possible, all right? Bear with me, fellas. traveling overseas in a group like the WWF or WCW can be difficult. It's not like here where these guys are making road trips and are basically on their own and responsible to make the towns that they're booked in. When you're on one of these like European traveling circus tours, basically everybody stays together in a group. They all have to be certain places at certain times or whatever, and they all travel together, and they can get annoyed with each other. Lots of fist fights and arguments and stuff like that. This time when WCW went to Europe was no different. They went to England to do some shows, and they were doing a lot of bus trips from town to town, and it took 161 miles for people to start turning on each other.
Oh, boy.
That is not very good. These are some excerpts from Gary Michael Capetta's autobiography. Gary Michael Capetta was a longtime announcer from like the 70s to the 90s. I want to say AEW actually brought him in recently. Does that sound familiar?
I have no idea who it is.
I think they brought him in. He was, WWF, NWA, AWA, WCW guy. He wrote his own personal autobiography, and he was on this trip. So this is like his words, mostly.
Okay.
Under the rules of independent travel in the States, whether or not it was the right thing to do, we were able to overlook Mr. Hughes' self-destructive abuse of drugs. But it was impossible to ignore the consequences of his addiction while we were in Europe, where everyone was forced to spend long periods of time together. Although his mood swings caused most people to stay clear of him, Curtis managed to offend the entire troupe from a distance. His crime, his social violation, farting.
Jesus.
Farting. We have Captain Lou pissing on people. We have Mr. Hughes farting. That's the kind of show we're doing today, and hopefully a lot of in the future.
Excellent.
No, Curtis didn't just fart. He farted repeatedly and continuously as he slumped in his seat on the bus. And the foul odor, this repulsive stench that permeated the stagnant air from the time we left London until reaching Sheffield, was nauseating. At first, Kevin Nash and Grizzly Smith alternately shook Mr. Hughes into consciousness and asked him to control himself. So he's got Kevin Nash and Grizzly Smith. Grizzly Smith is like, hey, man, what you're doing isn't right. In response, Curtis taunted them with more farts. Lex Luger sneered in disgust, but aware of his limitations, knew better than to take on the big man. The Freebirds unlatched the overhead hatch to the bus to inhale as much of the frigid English atmosphere as possible, but the bus driver made them close the windows, and the farts never stopped. Ultimately, I was convinced that Curtis began fake sleeping to gas up the bus just for the fun of it. But laughing gas it wasn't, says Gary Michael Capetta.
Sure.
By the time we were halfway to Sheffield, it was a toss-up whether Nash, Arn Anderson, or Nick Patrick would be responsible for lighting a match under the big man's butt, watching him explode. Coming to blows was about to happen when Grizzly Smith dragged Mr. Hughes to the back of the bus as if he were a misbehaving juvenile delinquent on a class trip. As of this, this Friday the 13th actually only got worse. So we kind of end the Mr. Hughes story at this point. What do you guys think of Mr. Hughes? You a fan? Were you not a fan? Now you are a fan? What's the thought here?
I liked the little that I knew about him from his WWE work. And then I knew a guy who was trained by Mr. Hughes, and I really liked the kid that was trained by him. He trained in North Carolina, so it wasn't anywhere around here. But that was my real reintroduction to Mr. Hughes, was just this kid telling stories about him, and nothing noteworthy, but that's the only part I remember about Mr. Hughes.
First I've ever heard of him, and I'm a big fan after listening to that story.
So the next part of the story, they had a show that night in Sheffield or wherever it was, and all of a sudden some cash and jewelry goes missing of the workers. So during the intermission of our Sheffield debut, I learned and watched that a couple blah, blah, blah was stolen out of the lockers of a few of the wrestlers. All eyes darted to PN News. Peewee? Can we get that PN News?
That's who this guy is? That's PN News?
No, that's the guy.
This is PN News?
That's PN News right there.
Wow.
What the hell is that thing?
So everyone thought that PN News had stolen everybody's stuff. based on his appearance, obviously. That's not his hat. That's not PN News' hat. Allegedly. While the mystery was never solved, the Steiner brothers were convinced that it was PN News, that he was the guilty one, so they decided to get back at him at the next day at the airport. So there's a lot more details to the story, but I will try and give you the gist here. Next day, they're waiting for a flight, but they couldn't get one. Finally, they're able to get a flight, but it's 40 miles away. So they have to get on another bus where Mr. Hughes starts stinking up the bus again.
Wow.
And PN News is sitting in the corner by himself because everyone's mad at him because they think he stole their stuff. So they get to the airport. They have to wait for their flight. PN News falls asleep. And then he wakes up and his shoes are gone. The ones on his feet are missing.
Wow, nice work.
These Steiner brothers stole his shoes. And the best part is he had no other shoes. So he's walking around the airport barefoot, pissed off, wanting to fight everybody. He thinks the Steiner brothers stole his shoes. Grizzly Smith comes in to try and calm down the situation. Grizzly Smith, a man of honor, clearly.
Yeah, clearly the good guy in this story.
So BM News is like, wanting to fight people or whatever. Grizzly Smith says, no, let's go shoe shopping. I'll go buy you shoes in the airport. They cannot find any shoes to fit him. They cannot find any shoes, so he has to eventually get on the plane barefoot. Jesus. Now, they get on a plane that's like a private plane or whatever. The Steiner brothers at this point decide to give back the shoes because they're with the entire group, including people in charge, who are like, please give this man back his shoes so we can go home. But now they're on this tiny aircraft, right? And all these guys are big dudes back in the day. So the pilot asks Michael P.S. Hayes and his wife to separate so that they can get the weight right on the airplane. Michael P.S. Hayes throws a fit and threatens to punch multiple people. And so like everything has gone wrong on this trip, and that's where it ends. 2 days later, they get home on the trip, and WCW never recovers financially.
Oh man, if Mr. Hughes was farting on that plane, oh boy, that's bad because that's just recirculating the
that
same
will be
air.
Part 2 of the show.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to get a plane ride from hell WCW version artwork. I think we need to get the King of Art, Justin Tuttle.
Hey, have Mattel make a play set out of that.
Oh, I
that's
like that
something
idea. I like that.
Yeah, now that
Tony,
I'd back.
Producer Tony, I don't know how you did it. Guys, that's it for the show this week. But next week on the show, I told you guys, did I mention this? Hattori Hanzo had purchased the Cup of Coffee Macho Man figure.
Yes.
And so we were talking about this figure. And he goes, I wish that they created the Lust in Your Eyes playset.
Ooh.
And I said, oh, what if they did the Jake the Snake Macho Man tied in the ropes playset?
With the snake chomping at him?
Absolutely. And so this got our motors a-running. And I think for next week, this is something that we need to do. We should come up with as many play sets that we think should be created wrestling-wise. Plane Ride from Hell would be
that's top of the
perfect
list,
one.
yes.
That's number one for me. Yeah.
And so what we can do is either like stuff that we liked that had happened in wrestling, which might be boring, or like the hilarious dumb shit that we like from wrestling that needs a play set that probably will never get corporate backing of us.
Sure.
Either way is fine with me, but I think that's something that we should do next week. And all the Smooth Babies, if you want to join, please email us, bittermarks@gmail.com. We obviously want to get as many of these as possible so that we can talk for close to an hour so we can have one more episode under our belt, because that's what we do here. We just waste some time, Anyway, that's next week. What's making me bitter this week? This Friday, United Center, AEW. CM Punk allegedly going to be debuting for AEW. Not what I'm bitter about. I do not care. I think it'll be a good wrestling moment. It will be fun to see. The crowd's going to be insane. What I am bitter about is the fact that I checked Twitter last night, and of course Raw was last night, and my entire Twitter timeline was just Goldberg and his son promos, because that's what happened on Raw last night.
Yes.
In a week that CM Punk is returning to wrestling, I am not that angry about it. Fuck you, Bill Goldberg, and your son Gage. I take that back. No, I don't. By the way, his name is Gage. He's got to be named after Nick Gage, right?
Named after him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Next week, we're going to start a podcast about music, comedy, and puppets because wrestling is dead. Producer Tony, what's making you bitter this week?
Puppies. As you know, we got a puppy, I'm guessing 10 weeks ago, because that's how many pictures are strewn across the bottom till you get to Daisy there. We got Daisy, and she's chewed a couple things, a couple shoes. She chewed like just random stuff that's weird, like coat hangers, shit like that. But last week I came home from work and I was livid. Peewee, do you have the picture?
Oh yeah.
I got home and she chewed my goddamn Logitech Harmony remote, which I've had for like 10 years. Yeah. It was like $250 back in the day. Wow. You cannot buy them anymore. Chewed it, destroyed it. I gotta hire a goddamn dog trainer now. I swear to God, if he looks like Steve Blackman, I'm just gonna leave.
That's actually going to be our flip of the week on the Flips and Bumps podcast. Find that remote and sell it to Tony. Peewee, what's making you better this week? Or bitter this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go also with Goldberg and his son.
Yes.
I don't watch WWE programming anymore, right? Sasha's on his feet. I don't. Nice shirt, by the way. Look at that shirt. I don't watch WWE products. This is why I don't complain about it, because I never see it. But now I know that Goldberg's in the news. I know that Goldberg is on TV. I know that his son is on TV. And this Saturday, we're all meeting up at producer Tony's house to watch the first WWE show that I've seen in months upon months upon months. I'm going to have to go through a 40-minute... Is Goldberg tagging with his son? What is happening on Saturday?
I have no clue.
Is it Goldberg versus his son? Is it just his son? Is Goldberg in his corner?
Hardcore match, yeah.
He's going to beat Lashley for the world title.
I'm bitter about all of this. I'm sure we'll go into very, very in-depth detail next week.
New episodes of this podcast drop every Friday morning in audio form at bittermarks.com or Tuesday nights in video form on YouTube. Join us while we record in the YouTube chat Tuesday nights live at 9:05. That's p.m. and that's Central Standard Time. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at bittermarks. Email us bittermarks@gmail.com. And last but not least, buy our shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/bittermarkscom. That's COM, as in Mr. Hughes will fart on you. Peewee, producer Tony, and all the smooth babies. See you next week.
Go off to answer your question, yes.
Bye.